Well, what are we talking about today? We're talking about heroes. And good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to Dreamy Dreamland with your Sensie Owl Bob. I is he, your griot, here to tell you a story. And, here it is Saturday. The weather has been really strange for the last 2 weeks. Ridiculously cold in the mornings, kind of getting up to 50 and 60 in the afternoon. When it's sunny, it gets definitely up to 60. If it's not like today, it's in the 40s. And it's really interesting because I'm in the tops of the mountains here, um, in the Sawtooth Mountain Range of the Accordions between the Appalachian and the Blue Ridge. And this is one of the more interesting bioregions of the planet, right? Because it has everything, right? And there's actually places where there's a desert here, right? So, and there are more ley lines going through here. Like one reason I bought the property I have, there's a ley line instead of being like 20 miles underground. Because I'm in a holler of this mountain range, Sawtooth Mountain Range. Uh, this gigantic ley line goes right through my backyard, literally, physically on top, meaning about 300 yards from one end of my property to the other end is from this, you know, part of this. So there's five mountains in my piece of property on each natal point, natal point, north, south, east, west, right? And then there's open spaces between, the spaces between north, south, between, you know, uh, north and east on one side and west on the other side, and then from the west to the south. There's so it's very interesting. And so there's this. It's like a bar of metal that goes about 300 yards along the back part of my property, and I cut into that and made a big flat, what is known as a pad. I made four pads. I could make four houses on my property, right? So I made a nice detached garage, but it's really a studio slash big deck. I have almost 900 square feet of deck and about 300 square feet of a garage. And I have it's I don't really use it as that, but it has a very high peak. The ridge is almost 30 feet from the floor, so it goes way high up, right? And I have this big garage door at one end, and that's like a door, right? It's like I don't really drive anything in there, but it's like one wall of the building I can lift up out of the way, right? So that's that. And I have these three other, and I have a gigantic pad where that ley line is runs along the base of it, and it's a big rock face. And at the bottom, all of the rock face, the mountain lays on top of a ley line, right? And I had this guy, geologist, metaphysician, alchemist, come from ETSU. I mean, he was, a geologist, but he was all the rest. I knew him from other organizations I belonged to. Anyway, he showed up with his little laboratory van he had, and he tried to drill into it and put burn it with his laser and a blowtorch. You name it, he tried you know, and he couldn't do anything to it. Couldn't even scratch it. And he measured it, with electromagnetic devices, and he said it was off the hook. So that's one reason I bought the property. Plus, I have a really, really great spring on the property, and there's a well, and and there's access into my property. I need to build a road. I mean, the road I'm on is like, it's not. It's a what would you call it? It's not a Forest Service road. That road, the road I'm on, is off a Forest Service road, and then you come on to a county road, and then there is the state road. So I'm as far. I was about 3 miles from the state road, give or take. Um, but two of the roads I live on are, one's the death highway because it's like this, right? And no one has taken care of it, and so it's, half of it's running off the side of a cliff every time it rains. On the one I'm on, it's not as steep. It's instead of like being 70 degrees, it's about 40 degrees. So I go out there once a week with my rake, and I just kind of rake it and sculpt it so the water kind of, I put little swells so because you don't need a gigantic ditch to get water to go someplace. You just need about that much difference of the road, right? And the water will go that way, right? So I have every place where the water would like pick up some speed, I put a swell across the road, and the water goes through it, so it doesn't dig the road up, right? So and that's about a mile along, and I just, no one takes care of that road but me. I kind of, I try to get the other people who live here. Well, what are you doing? You gave me nuts and I stopped anyway, you know. And so, you know, I used to go only be here for 4 or 5 months of the year. And so when I would just go, and no one would take care of the road, and it would be turn into a mud apocalypse. The side of the road would slide off the cliff of the mountain, and when I stopped raking the road, people's cars started going off the cliff. Right, so. And the smart ones would say, "Thank you, Al, for doing that." The other one, "What are you doing?" So that's the two type of people. And the third type of person is your hero. So I want to hear from you, waiting for guests. So you're right there, guys. Where are you? Where is? I want to. Where? I want to have a chat. Why can't I have a chat? It's not wanting to let me have a chat. Share. Save. Highlights. Add guests. What do I do? What happens to guests? No. Oh, okay. We'll go to this. Live chat. That's what I want. Okay. So somebody want to say something? Come on. Say something. Live chat. None. All requested. Some messenger such as appointed. Okay. All messages are visible. That's that's the one I want. I want to learn more about it. I just want it anyway. So someone, come on. There's two of you there. Say something just so I know my live chat is working. I'm using my tablet rather than my laptop because I don't have too much juice. But anyway, we're talking about heroes. I'd love to hear about your heroes. And again, anybody want to talk to me, mano y mano, get a hold of me at the dudeawake42 at gmail, dudeawake42 at gmail. You want to drop something into my PayPal, they'll say, who is it for? Dudeawake42 at gmail. I mean, no one's dropped anything into it for the last 5 months. It's not like I depend on it, but it's nice, you know. I've been doing this now for almost 7 years, and for a good 3 to 5 years, I would make 50 to $100 a month, which was nice. You know, that was very nice. It was like a sense of. It's like when I would go to powwows, and we would go to a grandma circles or elder circles. Usually, there is a medicine person there giving a lecture or a speech or running a circle, and or some kind of teacher or healer would be that, and you had to be a teacher or a healer to get into that circle, right? And it wasn't dependent on gender, you know. Like the grandma circle, there were guys there. They were just guys who acted like grandmas. And what is a grandma? Grandma is the adult in the room, the one person who's watching out for everybody else, not just for themselves. So that's my initial beginning heroes were grandmas, right? Of every different culture, right? When I grew up in Harlem, Second Avenue, every 3 blocks was a different nationality: Lithuanian, Ukrainian, you know, German, French, Italian, Irish, and not just those, but all the different sects of those ones. Because in every culture, the Irish, there are, I think 11 counties, 12 counties, something like that, 8 counties, a number of counties, and they're like different countries. Germany, there are, I don't know, somewhere between 4 and 6. They're not called counties, but districts or whatever. And those Germans are different from every other German, so it's an interesting mix. So no one's there. No one's making a comment. I'm gonna skip out of here and bring it back. Right? See what happens.